My name is Alex. It's nice to meet you as well.
That is filling in for the counselor who normally handles our deaf clients. She's out today, so I have the interpreter here. And you ready to get started?
Yes, thank you. The reason that I'm here today is really to ask for VR's assistance. Maybe you've heard, I recently had a wonderful thing happen, which was the birth of my son. But on the flip side of that, I've also been laid off from my job as a result of downsizing. So, with this situation that I just explained, just to be honest, I'm really lost at this point in my life. And I'm here today looking for some guidance. And, I don't know if it would be best for me to go back and further my education, or, maybe there are some other options that you have that you could offer me.
Well, let me ask you some questions and take down all your information. And then when your counselor gets back, I will give her all your information and she will call you and set up an appointment.
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay. And your name was what again?
Yes, my name is Alex, and it's Calogar, Calogar.
Okay. And are you a previous VR client? How recent? It's been a long time ago.
I have actually worked with VR in the past, and that case was closed. That was how I got this most recent job that I was laid off from.
Okay, and where were you a client?
Was it the office on Lamar Avenue?
Okay. And the outcome was you found a job. So, okay.
That's
Do
correct.
you remember who your counselor was?
Sorry, it was so long ago. I don't.
Probably look it up. Okay, and what is your educational background?
Well, I received my GED from high school, and then went on and got an associate's degree, and have been working ever since. It seems like that associate's degree is just not enough these days. It's 123 John Avenue. That's in Austin, Texas.
Okay. And so your last job laid you off because they downsized.
That's correct.
Okay.
Maybe you're familiar, or I'm sure you're familiar with Motorola and all the layoffs they've been handing out. I was a victim of those.
Right. Okay. And what is your employment history before Motorola?
Well, a brief work history. I have delivered pizzas in the past, and I also worked in restaurants. I worked in a warehouse type setting and did some assembly line work involving car parts. I was also a camp counselor at one point in time and a dorm supervisor at the Texas School for the Deaf.
Okay. And what do you feel are your strengths as an employee?
Well, I work very well independently, and a goal that I have would be to go back to school and further my education and possibly become some type of support specialist. And, in doing that, go out making service calls when computer equipment isn't functioning properly, that type of thing. Um, but yeah, a definite strength of mine is working independently.
Okay. And what do you feel are your weaknesses, if any?
Hmm. I have to say that sometimes I do struggle interacting with other employees, and that would be as a result of the communication barrier. I don't really enjoy writing notes back and forth to communicate. So that is probably a weakness that I could list. And, I tend to also get very task oriented and kind of block out the other things around me, and that I guess could be perceived as a weakness as well.
What do you feel is your career goal? What would you really, really like to be doing?
Well, I would say a career goal would be to work independently, maybe as a freelance technician, as I mentioned before, I'd love to really get out on the road making service calls under the umbrella of another company. That would be great. But definitely some level of independence is a career goal of mine. And I just kind of feel like I'm at a crossroads right now because, as I mentioned earlier, I have this new baby at home, and part of me is, very concerned about finances, and thinks that I should get back into the workforce as soon as possible and begin earning again. But, the other half of me would really like to pursue going back to college and going down that route. So, I'm just at really a hard place in my life between that proverbial rock and a hard place. And I'm hoping I'm hoping that VR will be able to help me out.
Right. Okay. We'll do our best. Um, so, what are your salary expectations?
Well, at least $1 million a year.
That sounds good. Um, what kind of challenges do you currently face? Or what did you face when you were at Motorola? Was it being a deaf employee?
Well, communication, because I'm deaf, is always an issue. And that's not just me. That's, the same with deaf people everywhere. So that is one issue. But if I could go a little deeper, if I could just give you a real life example, there may be a meeting at Motorola, and a meeting would be called for employees, but they wouldn't get an interpreter for me. So that was quite frustrating. I felt like I would like to have my voice heard in those meetings, but they took place without me. I wasn't included because there was no interpreter provided. And my supervisor would, put me off with saying he would write a synopsis of what had happened in the meeting after the fact. But, the meeting may last 20 or 30 minutes, and then he would just give me a brief written synopsis, that may take 5 minutes to discuss. So it just didn't feel like it gave me equal access. And that was frustrating. It made me feel excluded.
So the challenges that you might face in a new job situation, how do you think you would handle that if it was the same as in Motorola?
Excuse me. I think the first thing that I could do would be to provide tools to my new employer. A lot of companies just aren't aware um, of the process of securing an interpreter and those types of things. I could definitely provide those resources or those tools, and there's no guarantee that the company would take advantage of those resources, but I could definitely provide them. And I could also let that new company know how to communicate with me when I'm not there, such as, getting in touch with me through the relay service or through my pager, just kind of really working with them to educate them in how, in my communication needs. And I think that should help the situation.
What different accommodations do you feel are required for you as a deaf employee? What would you like for your employer to have for you?
Well, primarily an interpreter when necessary, and also I would need an employer to have patience. And I would like a prospective employer to realize that they just need to teach me something once, and then I pick it up quickly, and I'm going to be task oriented and get the job done. So while the communication issue in the beginning may be a little, hard to navigate, it would definitely be to their advantage to communicate with me so that I could be an effective worker for them.
Do you feel like they should have phone equipment, those kind of things for you there also?
I would say a video phone, at least. But really, other than that, I wouldn't need anything else. I go to work to do the job and not to socialize.
Okay. Have you ever taken an aptitude test?
I did, but it was not recently. It was long, not even long. It was so long ago. I don't even remember the results.
Oh, you don't remember what they revealed?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
So what are your interests?
Do you mean my personal interests or professional? Well, I am a sports enthusiast. I like people, love to travel, and probably top on the list is spending time with my son. Well, my computer skills are very good. I'm familiar with the Microsoft Office suite, and also integration. I'm very comfortable using a variety of software programs.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all the questions that I have. Um, do you have any questions?
I did have a question. I'm wondering if VR could help with daycare costs for my son.